You're 34, sitting in the driveway of the house it took you 11 years to afford, in the car you promised yourself at 19. Engine off, porch light on. And you can't figure out why your chest feels tight instead of full. Your phone has 43 unread messages. You scroll through them twice. Not one is from someone you'd actually want to call back. You did everything right. Automated the savings, skipped the vacations, worked every Saturday your friends spent at cookouts you kept meaning to make it to. You built the number. And somewhere on the way to building it, you spent something that was never on the spreadsheet. Nobody puts this part in the plan. Every wealth video shows you the return. Compound interest, index funds, the magic of starting at 25 instead of 35. What none of them show you is the invoice running quietly underneath it. Paid in hours, in people, in versions of yourself you don't get back. This isn't a video telling you to stop building wealth. It's the video nobody makes, about the 3 things that actually get spent along the way, and the one thing that separates the people who end up rich from the people who end up rich and alone, sitting in a driveway at 11 at night. The first thing that goes is time. Not eventually, almost immediately. Somewhere in your late 20s, you start running the math on everything. A Tuesday stops being a Tuesday. It's 8 hours you could be earning, learning, building. Rest starts to feel like falling behind. So the gym membership goes unused. The book stays on page 40 for 2 years. You tell your friends, next month, so many times that eventually they stop asking. And you don't notice until the group chat goes quiet for good. Here's the part that should bother you more than it does. Economists spent over a decade studying the relationship between income and happiness, and eventually found that money keeps making most people happier, further than anyone used to assume. But there's one group for whom it barely moves the needle at all. People who were already running on empty before the money showed up. In other words, the time you're trading away isn't just time. For a lot of people, it's the exact thing standing between the money and it actually working. But time isn't even the expensive one. The expensive one is the people you stop being close to. Researchers who tracked over 100,000 Americans found something most people don't expect going in. The more someone earned, the more time they spent alone, and the less time they spent with the people who knew them before any of this started. And it doesn't stop once you've made it. Researchers at Boston College once surveyed a group of people worth an average of $78 million, expecting to find contentment. What they found instead were people quietly afraid that every relationship in their life had turned transactional, unable to tell anymore whether they were wanted or simply useful. That's the part that should sit with you. It's not that success makes people cold. It's that success keeps people so busy protecting what they built, they forget to keep showing up for the people who mattered before any of it started. Then there's the third thing, the quiet one. It disappears so slowly you don't notice, until someone asks a simple question and you don't have an answer. What do you do for fun? Not what do you do. What do you do for fun? No ROI attached, no networking angle. Just something you do because you like it. Somewhere in the climb, that question got harder to answer. Every hobby turned into, could I monetize this? Every conversation turned into a soft pitch, and somewhere in there, you stopped being someone with interests and became someone with a portfolio. That's not a personality flaw. It's just what happens to anyone who spends a decade optimizing. The person you started as doesn't get destroyed. They get deprioritized, one Tuesday at a time, until you're standing in a driveway you worked 11 years for, and you can't remember the last thing you did purely because you wanted to. Here's the part almost nobody says out loud, though. The people who actually feel rich, not just look rich, aren't the ones who avoided this trade. Nobody builds real wealth without spending time and energy somewhere. What separates them is what they did afterward. They bought it back. They hit a number, and instead of raising it again, they used it to buy back a Tuesday. They funded the thing they used to do for free. And they started picking up the phone on the first ring instead of the fourth, because they'd finally understood what the money was for in the first place. Money was never the goal. It was supposed to be the thing that bought back the life you spent getting it. Most people just never get around to cashing that part in. So if you're in the middle of this climb right now, here's the one adjustment that actually matters. Put time and people in the budget, not as whatever's left over after work, but as a line item, protected the same way you protect a 401k contribution. One dinner a week that doesn't move. 1 hour that has nothing to do with getting ahead. One friend who gets a real answer when they ask how you're doing. It costs less than you'd think. It's just easy to forget it's a bill that's due. And unlike rent, nobody sends a warning before it's late, so you're sitting in that driveway again. Same house, same car, same 43 messages. Except this time, you pick one. Not the client, not the recruiter, the friend who texted 3 weeks ago and never got a reply. You call. It rings twice. The number in your account was never the finish line. It was supposed to buy back the people and the hours you spent getting here. Most people just forget to collect. If you've ever felt richer on paper than you do in real life, you're not imagining it, and it's not too late to buy it back.